Girl, calm down. Yukari isn't going to appear if you say her name 3 times. We opened this week at the library that, let's be honest, not a lot of people go to these days. Oh, not because I think they're illiterate or anything, but rather more...
I'm in this insanely quiet library, and it's time to film my music video.
So, thankfully, there's no one like that in this library. Except for the librarian, who sounds like Dio Brando. Anyway, Navier was there to do some research about their world, as well as, of course, their enemy. Yeah, it's gonna be a fairly basic way of doing world building, with the characters just going to the library to read a few books, but it works. Plus, again, Dio Turtle was a lot of fun, and he even made a ridiculously big deal out of some basic paperwork. Why do I get the feeling like this wasn't even the original script, and yet they animated this little bit of Koyasu having a slight mental breakdown? Meanwhile, the princesses were partaking in a tea party, where, once again, Minamo was able to show off that she can be a good baker when not under pressure. I will ask though, what is the deal with some of this tableware? Like, I actually do think the serving plate being a crescent moon is kind of awesome, and the teapot being a globe is a lot of fun, but what's the deal with their silver, or rather, rainbowware? Like, that's not a fork, that's a... weapon acquired. Regardless, this was some cute stuff that adds some fun bits of characterization from all 3 princesses. I would say Kaguri got some of the best of it, with her just fangirling over more of Minamo's treats, to the point that you'd almost think that these were of the dark variety. That said, we also got some good, subtle characterization from Minamo, with her saying that she couldn't make stuff like macarons because she only had a 70% success rate, which, yeah, someone who has made them for this channel, that's still pretty damn impressive. I mean, it's more impressive than Nagase and her FPSs. So it's because of you that we have this stupid meme? Boom headshot! Boom headshot! Boom headshot! Still, it was enough to encourage Minamo to make those macarons in a very wholesome bit that I'm sure won't be used as a means of any sort of tragic irony later. Yeah, just remember the scene for later. Anyway, after finishing up at the library, Navier tried to rush back in order to join the tea party. Along the way, he encountered the obvious victims of the week. Hey, does anyone have the number for an exorcist? But yeah, we'd also get back to them later, as Navier managed to join the tea party, in spite of everyone kind of rightfully ragging on the dorky little bunny. Still, it was lighthearted stuff, that was then contrasted with Minamo reflecting on their duties of protecting the Alice Spear from the Jamork. Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about with that earlier scene, but I think there also might be more to come in the near future, as I do get the feeling like things are going to pick up soon in terms of the conflict. And to give us proper build up to that, the show took a little time to do more world building, like Navier revealing through his research that the Jamork had actually been fought and dealt with by the previous generations of princesses like them. Historians have referred to them as an antibody against the virus that was the Jamorks, which could either be more of a figure of speech, or for all we know at this point, could be something more literal. Regardless, the point was that there was some sort of destiny that would always result in the reformation of both sides, leading to an eternal conflict. The princesses themselves would always be whoever had some of the most muse essence at the time. Yeah, I mean, all you could do is sing some of the best songs in the show, and have some legit tasty recipes. Seriously, someone needs to hire a motivational coach for this girl. Just do. But yeah, still an interesting little setup for the show, if a little basic still yet. That said, the big setting that they still haven't quite established, and hopefully will soon, was the antagonist of the show, the band Snatch. Said bad boys, after kind of phoning it in last week, decided to let Callisto do his thing this week. Thus things were starting to get a little tense, as there was still a lot of stuff that both the princesses and us, the audience, didn't quite know about these dudes. The average MCU writer. Jokes aside, I actually kind of like this part, as not only does it effectively highlight Nagase's kind and fun-loving nature, but I'm also really starting to get the feeling like things are going to go south for our heroines in the upcoming episodes, and this could become a great moment of tragic irony. Again, I can't say for sure how things will turn out next week, but let's just put a pin in this for later. To further back up my theory, Minamo took out a little notebook, which turned out to be more of an autograph book, as she had gotten one from each of the victims of the week, including her bestie Nachi, which yeah, that's a bit of a weird thing to ask from your friend, and then she also asked her teammates for their Hancocks. I blame you for spreading the Stan virus. Still, this did act as a nice subtle recap of this first arc of the series, which to me means that it's going to come to an end after this next battle with Callisto. On that note, we cut over to Callisto attacking the aforementioned twin sisters, named the Twin Synchronicity. He used a bunch of Rooks as his minions, with one of them being powered up, which yeah, that'll be an important little detail later. With that, the princesses had a pretty meh fight, as it mostly involved a lot of still frames. Things did pick up when they started to focus on the powered up Rook, and the Triad Force kicked in. This allowed them to take out the much tankier enemy in a nice sequence. However, the day wasn't saved, as only one of the twins woke up. Yeah, as Minamo noticed, the evil general wasn't around, which turned out to be because he had created two powered up pieces and took the other one, which was a bishop, into town. With that, the episode ended on a pretty damn exciting little cliffhanger, with the princesses racing into town to stop Callisto, which was made even more hype with them playing the ending theme as the episode was still going on. When you really get down to it, there really wasn't much to this episode by itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, we did get some nice wholesome character moments, and some decent world building, but really nothing much actually happened to our characters this week. But with that in mind, I am looking forward to next week, as I can feel a bit of a big storm on the horizon. While I do think most episodes should be judged on their own merits, part 1s like this do feel like they are made more in favor of the preceding part 2. In the case of this show, it really does feel like things are going almost too well for our princess. Like, so far, they've been able to deal with the band Snatch with no significant damages or casualties. However, with how much he's been built up over these past few weeks, it does seem like Callisto will be the much needed shakeup for the show to really get across how the princess's jobs aren't going to be as easy as they might have thought. Hell, that might be exactly why this episode was a lot more easygoing, between them just trying to have a simple little tea party, to Nagase constantly trying to break the tension. To me, those are all flags that some sort of big loss is right around the corner for them. And if the show really commits to it, it would help to distinguish this from Precure and their version to cliffhangers, or just the superheroines losing in general really. All of their accomplishments and victims they've saved so far would feel a lot lesser, as they would still need to get a lot stronger, leading to some good and gripping conflict. Now, of course, a lot of this is just my own conjecture, so we'll just have to wait and see how things turn out. Thus, as for this episode by itself, it was at least decent, with fun interactions between the princes, and more importantly, the start to them finally getting more world building, which they can follow up next week, with us getting to know more about the band Snatch. So yeah, overall, this wasn't an amazing episode by any means, but who knows, it might have been a prelude to something truly great like Thanks for watching, and if you need help with your seaweed fix, I guess our videos can help with that somehow. And even if we don't, we've got something coming out almost every day, so they might at least satisfy some sort of craving for you. Look forward to Kamen Rider Gab. Until then though, for now my friends, and look dude, if you want some miso soup, I'll go make you some already.